And I just went over the homework assignment. So Christian, if you're watching this recording, just make sure you go into Google Classroom and look at my comments on your homework. So if there's anything that you need to fix on that. Okay, so now, just a quick review, and I kind of went over this with Allie a little bit here, the topic clincher rule. Both you, Allie, and Christian are doing a really good job with that. That's the one where you have the two sentences, the topic and the clincher, and they must repeat or reflect 2 or 3 key words. So that's just something I wanted to remind you of. Now I want you to get out your binder, Allie, and then we'll put away the Book and Dinosaurs lesson, which was lesson from week 15. So we'll put that away. I'll show you to put it behind your finished compositions here. Okay, that doesn't want to hold on. My camera doesn't want to turn on. Come on, camera, wake up. There we go. Try that again. You guys know what to do. You're putting away behind finished compositions, week 15, which was Book and Dinosaurs. So go ahead and stick that behind there. And then after you put that away, we're going to get out week 16 from behind the source text tab. We'll get out week 16. Which begins on page 133. Well, technically 131 if you have that page, but that's the extra page that we don't really use. So if you have it, go ahead and get it out with this, but you'll need page 133 and 135 and 137. Okay, those are the pages you need to take out of your binder. 131, if you have it, through 137, which is the checklist. And it's called Picnic or Tortoise. That's the name of the lesson this week. Got that, Allie? Good, okay. So I'm going to talk to you about this just for a few minutes. And then I'm going to talk to you about your homework. And then I'm actually going to move on to another lesson, but I want to go through this with you really quick. And you can already tell it's set up like the ones that you've been doing the last couple of weeks where you have the pictures. So these are kind of fun. And I wanted to give you one more opportunity to write from pictures. This will be the last time you guys do this part. But looking at this one here, and I know you saw as you were getting out your papers that there's this one. So just to give you a heads up, your homework is one or the other. You get to pick which one you want to write about. But Allie, do you remember what the central fact means? Like, what are we looking for to fill in the words here for central fact? Do you remember what that is?
Like what you see.
What you actually see in the picture. Perfect. Yes, that's exactly right. So when you're going to fill out the central fact, let's just look for a minute at the very first picture here. And what do you actually see in that first picture, Allie?
It looks like they're having a picnic. So a picnic. And then it looks like they're eating.
Okay.
And then they're next to a tree.
Good. Okay. And it looks like, so they're outside somewhere, maybe at a park, or what do you think?
It looks like they're like sitting in the grass.
Okay. Do you think it's friends, or do you think it's like a mom and a dad and a daughter, or do you think it's maybe other family members, maybe?
Friends maybe.
Friends, okay. They all look pretty young. Yeah. And it looks like maybe two girls and a boy, possibly. And they're sitting on a blanket. So they are sitting on the ground, and maybe she's drinking lemonade because it almost looks like there's a lemon on the glass there. So that's good. So those are some ideas on what you could put for actually what's happening in the picture. And then what are the questions that you ask yourself to come up with more ideas on what's happening? What do you remember those big 6 questions that we ask?
Think, where.
Where is one? Yeah, and think is one that we list later, but I'm looking for those 6 words that start a question sentence, like when you're wanting to access information that you have in your own head. Like who would be the first one? Remember these questions? Who?
What?
Yeah, there you go. What?
When,
There you go.
where, why, and how.
Yes. Who, what, when, where, why, and how. Good job. Now, these can be in any order. It doesn't have to be in this exact order. But when you're going to fill out the rest of these details about this picture, this is where you get to come up with stuff. Because who are they? Well, you said they're friends. Maybe you can give them names. And then what are they doing? They're drinking lemonade and having a snack or lunch. When is it? It's during the day. Where? At the park, or maybe they're camping. I don't know. You can make up whatever you want, but that's how you come up with your story, is looking at this picture and then making up the answers to these questions here. So, and then earlier you said, think. I'm just going to draw a line like this, and go ahead and write these at the top of your page too, just to help you remember. And next to what, we can put think, because I heard you say that, and that's true. What are they thinking? What are they saying or feeling? What do they think, say, or feel? And then we'll draw one more line, and then over here in the corner, there's a couple other questions we can ask, like what's happening outside of the picture? What's happening, or maybe something that's invisible that we can't see. Or after, oops, or before. I know we're really scrunching these words in here. So I have outside, invisible, after, before. And I like to write these at the top of the page just so that you have that to refer back to when you're going to come up with your story. So do you have any questions so far about that, Allie?
No.
Looking at this picture, the middle one, what is the central fact of this picture?
It looks like the same people who are playing soccer.
Yeah. Looks like all 3 of them are playing soccer. It looks like the boy just kicked it. She's maybe
Yeah.
trying to block it.
Yeah.
Were you going to say something else?
It almost looks like it's gonna hit her face.
That could happen, yes. And you can add that to your story if you want to go that direction with it. It does kind of look like it's going to go boom right there. Okay, good. So you got the idea for the central fact. And then looking at this last picture, what is the central fact in that picture?
And it looks like all the animals are coming out to eat their food that they left.
Yeah, that's not good. So what animals do you see in the picture?
A bird, a squirrel, and then maybe a coyote or a dog.
A coyote or a dog. And then even down here, these must be
Ants.
little ants. Yep, that sounds about right. So that's the central fact. That's what you literally see in the picture. And then remember, these details are going to be answering these questions up above to come up with your story. So there's that page. And then there's this one. If you want to look at this one, this is page 135. And like I said earlier, for your homework, you get to choose. You can either do this one or the one about the picnic. This one leaves you more opportunities for your imagination because you only have one picture to go off of right here. And what is the central fact in this picture right here?
A turtle upside down.
A turtle upside down. Exactly. And I think they call it a tortoise, but that still is a turtle. So if you want to use the word turtle, that's fine. He's upside down and on his shell, I guess you could say that. We don't know where he is. We don't know if he's inside the house or at a zoo or outside in the desert. We don't really know a whole lot other than the central fact right here is the turtle is on its back. So let's brainstorm for a second here. What do you think is a possibility that might have happened first, like before he got on his back? What do you think could have happened possibly?
Maybe there's like a predator, like trying to go and eat him, and he rolled on his back to look like he was dead.
I like it. That's a good one. What kind of predator would be for a tortoise or a turtle?
Maybe like a lion.
A lion, yes, definitely a predator. What other types of predators would there be? Usually if it's like a desert tortoise, what kind of predators would be in the desert, do you think?
Coyote.
Definitely coyote.
Um, Maybe a camel.
Yeah. Well, camels aren't really predators because they are herbivores. So, but a coyote, that's a good one, or a lion if you want to go that route, either way. So basically what you're going to do for your central fact here, because normally we look at the picture and tell what's in the picture. So you're just going to have to imagine it. If you want to actually draw in a picture, you can, but you don't have to, okay? So you could put something here like coyote, coyote prowls maybe or prowled around, and instead of saying he saw the tortoise, maybe he spotted the tortoise or something like that. So you could come up with some keywords here to use for your central fact. And then of course, like we talked about on the other page, your details then will be answering those questions. Why is the coyote prowling, or why did he spot a tortoise? Maybe he's hungry, maybe it's all the other there's no other animals available for his food, or he's trying to feed his babies, or I mean, could be a lot of different reasons why. But you can explain what's going on with the pretend picture that you come up with in your head. Does that make sense, Allie? Okay. And then let's explore some ideas on what you think might happen after that picture. What do you think would happen at the end after that?
Maybe once the coyote like ran away, the tortoise got back up and ran away and hid. Mm.
That's a good one. A happy ending. So the tortoise is saved and not eaten. That's good. Yeah, you could do that. Then maybe he tricked the coyote and he gave up on it and ran away. That's a good one. And then you would answer other questions. Maybe at that point, you could think of how the tortoise feels, like he was relieved and he went back to his family or whatever. You can make up whatever happens after that. So you got the idea though. You guys have had a lot of practice with these pictures and doing these outlines. So like I said before, number 5 is optional. You don't have to have 5 details. It's there if you need it, but you have to have at least 4 details about what's going on in the pictures or in your imagination. And if you need the number 5, you can use the number 5. So your homework this week is going to be to fill out one of these, either this one about the picnic or this one about the tortoise or turtle, and writing your 3 paragraphs. Let's just take a peek at the checklist here. This is on page 137. This is for your homework. And there's nothing new on here. So just reminding you to make sure to pay attention to that topic clencher. You and Christian did a great job with that, like I said before. Then you've got your 6. Now you've got 6 different dress up words. Both of you did a great job with that. And then I do want to remind you about these band words. And I forgot to double check yours, Allie. I don't remember if you had any band words in your homework. I don't think you did, but I'll make sure to double check that. But in this one, it might be, if you choose the picnic one right here to write about this week, it might be kind of tricky to stay away from eat or ate because they are eating right here in this picture. So what's another word you could use instead of ate? What do you think, Allie?
Maybe squished, like squished in their mouths.
Squished in their mouths, or maybe chewed.
Oh yeah.
Right? Chewed, or have you heard the word consume? Like to consume something means to eat. That's another word for eat or ate. They consumed lunch, or they gobbled up lunch, something like that. Or she's actually, I think, drinking lemonade. So you could say she drank rather than eating or ate. You could say she drank. Yeah. You could even use the word enjoyed, really, because if you enjoy your lunch, it means you're eating your lunch and you like it. So you could say something like that. So I just wanted to point that out, to stay away from those banned words as you write your story. All right, so we are done with that. Now, I want to talk to you about the next lesson coming up. So you need a lined piece of paper. I'm going to have you take some notes, some class notes together here. Any questions before we move on about your homework assignment this week? Okay, good. Like I said, this will be the last one that you do with the pictures, and then we're going to move on to a new unit, and I'm going to give you like a little introduction about that for next week. Because the picture writing is unit 5, but now we're going to move on to unit 6. And unit 6, starting next week, will be more academic writing rather than creative writing. Because right now you and Christian are working on making up stories and just kind of getting creative and coming up with scenarios and stuff like that. So it's kind of more like a free creative writing style. Now we're going to move into more academic, which is like writing a report. And actually, I'm going to talk to you about writing a research paper. Have you ever done that before, Allie, where you actually look up information and write a paper about something? What is a topic? Do you remember what you wrote about? What topic you wrote about?
I think I wrote about like a bobcat.
Oh, okay. Good. Okay, so let's talk about that for a second because I said topic, but I mean subject. So the subject of what you write about is the main thing. So, well, let's just go ahead and start by setting up our paper. You can put your name here like you usually do. And then today is June 26th. It's crazy how we're almost to 4th of July. There we go. Let's just label this class notes. And then under that, I'm going to have you write out the whole title of this unit. So I'm just going to have you go right under class notes next to the red line here. And we're going to put unit 6 and then a colon like that. And then the word summarizing multiple references. It's a big title. I'll give you a minute to write that down. Summarizing multiple references. Oops, it's zooming. I mean, it's, there we go, focusing. Okay, so summarizing we've talked about before. I don't like how they spell summarizing. It should be S-O-M-E. Remember how we used to talk about how you take something that has a lot of information and then you narrow it down to the most interesting things to talk about and put those in your paper. Like we've done that a couple of times before. I think we didn't we do a report on Marco Polo in this class? We did that earlier, right? Is it Marco Polo? Yeah. So that was an example of summarizing a big report or a big article about Marco Polo. And then we pulled out interesting things about him and we wrote a report based off of that. And that's what we're going to do here. But we have the word multiple. And multiple means more than one, right? And then references is basically sources. So if you have more than one article about something, this would be what you're going to learn how to do is summarize, take some information from lots of different sources and write a research paper about it. So I'm pretty excited for you because this is going to help you now in my class, but it's also going to help you whenever you have an assignment in the future, when you have to do a research paper. These steps are really going to help you. It'll be easier because you'll know what to look for and how to get started with it. So go ahead and skip a line and I'm going to have you write that word research. And in that word research, we see the prefix re. Do you remember what the prefix re stands for? What that means if you have re in front of it? It means to do something again. So like if I have the word rewrite, like if I say to you, rewrite your story, you would write it again, right? If I say you need to, or maybe if your mom tells you, you need to re-clean your room, Allie, that means she didn't like how you cleaned it. So you probably have to clean it again, right? So re-clean means to clean again. If I say redo something, what does that mean? If I ask you to redo something, What does that mean?
Do it again.
There you go. You get the idea. Do it again. So research, what do you think research means?
Research, like search it again.
Good. Excellent. That's exactly right. To search it again. So let's put that. Let's put a little dash right here and let's put search again. And when you search for something, let's say you search for information. And like you said, maybe your research paper was on bobcats. You would look for information about bobcats, but you would look again and again and again in different places to find information to write your research paper. So then I want you to put another dash right here, and I want you to put more than one source. More than one source. And a source is where you find your information. So when you do research, you're looking into more than just one. You're looking into multiple. That was where that word multiple comes from. Okay, why do you think, Allie, why do you think if, let's pretend you're doing your research paper on bobcats, why do you think it would be good to look for more than one source of information?
To find like different information from a different source.
Yeah. Why do you think that would be good to do, to not just take like one book? Why would it be good to have maybe like an encyclopedia and then maybe a different book or a website? Why would it be good to take information from different places?
To get like different answers.
Yeah, I like that. To get different answers, to get more information than just what one book can give you, maybe just to get more. Or sometimes different authors will focus on different things. Like maybe you find one author that focuses on the anatomy of a bobcat, like how the body is designed and how it, digests food or whatever. And maybe one author focuses on what kind of prey the bobcat seeks out to eat, so there might be a different perspective on the bobcat. And that's why it would be good to take from different sources, so you're not just stuck on one perspective. Does that make sense, Allie? Okay, good. So when you're doing research and you're searching again, you can potentially have, 10 sources, which would be a lot. For my class, we're going to focus on 3. So I want you to just skip a line and we're going to draw in, they don't have to be perfect, 3 boxes right here like this. And we're just going to put A, B, C. And we're going to pretend for a second that each one of these is a different source. And we're going to talk about the possibility of what those sources could be. But just for the sake of visual, so you can see what I'm talking about here, I want you to put search underneath A. And then under B, let's put and then dash search. And then under C, we're going to put research. Now, those are not real words, like research is not a real word, but if you're searching for information about bobcats and you find something here in A and you do another research, you find something in B. And then if you do you're going to do searching again and again, you're going to find information in this source, which would be source C. So you get the idea of again, finding more and more information. So, get my notes here. What are some possible places? Let's put this. Let's go ahead and skip a line, and we're going to put where to search for information. And then we'll put a colon here. And now let's list places where you can find information. I'll wait till you get that written down there. Where to search for information. Okay, and go ahead and tell me some ideas. Where would you find information? Like for the bobcat, where would you look to find information about bobcats?
Google.
Yep, so Google.
Maybe YouTube.
YouTube. Those are both online. What's another, rather than online, where else could you go to find information?
Maybe you can like go to a friend or somebody that knows about it.
I like that. You can, I'm going to put here, ask expert, maybe a friend or maybe your dad or your mom, somebody that knows about bobcats. That's a good one. Where
Or
else
go
could
to
you?
a desert and like learn about it yourself.
Yeah, that's a good one. Let's put go and see. Like go and see for yourself, right? Go somewhere to find out for yourself. I like that. Good.
Maybe you can like learn it from a teacher.
Okay. And that would be part of asking an expert. So you're right. You could go learn from a teacher. What if you went to the library? What could you, yeah, what do you think about that?
Get a book about bobcats or whatever you're learning about.
Yep. Book. How about like an encyclopedia? Do you know what those are?
Yeah.
I know we have Encyclopedia Britannica, that kind of stuff is online, but if you, I know people don't really go to the library a lot anymore. Pedia. Encyclopedia is actually like a big book, and usually there's a lot of volumes of it that are categorized by the alphabet. So if you look for information about a bobcat, you would look under B for bobcat. It's kind of like a dictionary, but when you turn to that page, it'll give you a lot of information like where they are typically found and how big they typically are, what they eat, and their habitat, and basically everything you need to know about bobcats you can find in an encyclopedia. Another idea would be like a magazine, like National Geographic. Have you heard of that one before?
Yeah.
They have a show. It's pretty cool. I think it's on Netflix, or they have their own channel in the National Geographic, and you can learn a lot from there. So that would be another good source. Okay, so you've got a good list here. These are multiple places for you to find information. The other one I want you to list is source texts. And that is what we use in my class in your binder. So in your binder, you know how we always turn in past source text, and then it gives you all the information you need. So for my class, this is, at least to start, for this coming lesson next week, we're going to use the source text that they give us. And then eventually you're going to find your own information, but we'll use the source text from the binder. Okay, now I'm going to actually have you turn this note page to the back, because I'm going to have you draw out something on the back side here. I'm going to have you at the top. Go ahead and write again those 3 squares. This is on the back of your notes here. And you can put A, B, C again. And then just for the sake of showing you this visual, I'm going to have you write in a keyword outline here under each one. So you're going to do like a Roman numeral 1 and then put topic. And then you're going to do 1, 2, 3. And I want you to do the same thing under B, Roman numeral 1, topic, 1, 2, 3, Roman numeral 2, topic, 1, 2, 3. Now remember, as you copy that, go ahead, and I know you're going to finish writing that, but the subject of your research is the big thing you're writing about. For instance, your example of bobcats, that would be your subject. That's the big thing you're writing about or you wrote about. And then your topics would be something about the bobcat, like their diet or their habitat, something like that. Those would be the topics underneath that. And then under the topic is going to be the facts about that topic. Let's say it's a diet. And then your facts are, what does the bobcat eat? It probably eats small rodents like rabbits and squirrels and chickens, if it can get its hands on chickens, because we've had a bobcat come into our farm and take a couple of our chickens. So anything small, stuff like that. So you would list that underneath the topic. Now, notice I had Roman numeral 1, 1, and 1. Oh, this is supposed to be 1. I totally messed up. Don't put 2 there. This should be 1 still. 1, 1, and 1. Whoopsie. So each one of these topics are going to be the same, but you have 3 different sources here. So each topic you're going to find in each source. And then from there, I'm going to show you this visual. Let's pretend we've got the topic is, let's talk about bobcats again. So that we'll pretend for a second that the subject is bobcats and the topic is diet. And the topic is diet here, and the topic is diet here. Now, this source might talk about the rodents and things like that. This source might talk about the digestive system, like his diet and how it affects his body. Maybe you have other information, but it might still talk about things that the bobcat eats. That could still be part of it, but you're gathering information from that source. It could be a book. Let's see. Let's put on top of A here, let's put website. And on top of B, let's put book. And then on top of C, let's put expert. That's just an example of 3 different sources. So when you go to the website, you find information about the diet. You go to the book, you find information about the diet, and then you go talk to an expert and you find information about the diet. So these are all the same topic here. And then I want you to skip a couple lines and put fused outline. Now that word fused means to like glue something together or weld something together, or when you fuse something, you're putting it together basically. So what you're going to do, and I'm going to show you this more next week, I just wanted to give you a little preview about it. You're going to take each of these 3 outlines and put them together into one big outline. So under the fused outline, you're still going to have a Roman numeral 1, and you're going to put topic here. It's going to be the same as these topics here. And then I want you to do 1 through 7. And for 6 and 7, I'm just going to have you put parentheses around them like that. That just means if you need to use 6 and 7, you can, but you need to have at least 5 for your fused outline. But if you have more information that you just really like and you want to have in your research paper, you can do 6 and 7. And then underneath here, let's go ahead and write that clincher word. And I know we're out of time, but I just want to show you something really quick here. So in order to fuse, you will take something from your sources up here and move it down to the fused outline. Let's pretend and circle number 1 here. And then I want you to draw an arrow from that one to that number 1. So we have, let's say you have information here about their diet that you really like, that you found on that website, and you want to include it. You think it's very interesting. You want to include it in your fused outline. And then maybe like number 2 was kind of interesting, but not as interesting as maybe number 3. Whatever you have here for your number 3, you're like, man, I really like, that's so interesting how maybe they find their prey or how they hunt or something like that. So circle 3, and then I want you to draw an arrow from 3 down here to the number 2. And we're just going to pretend like up here, you didn't really care for that information, so you're not going to include that. Now looking over here, 1 is kind of boring, but 2, you really like the information you found in number 2. So you're going to draw an arrow from that to number 3 down here. And you really like the information you found in this one, and it's interesting. And now you're going to move that one down to number 4. Do you see what I'm doing, Allie? I'm kind of picking and choosing from the top to write down here. It's just a visual. It's just, I know it's a lot of arrows and all that. And then let's say over here, from this expert, your expert told you a really fascinating story about the bobcat that you want to make sure to put in your report. So you can draw an arrow from that fact down here to number 5. Now you've got your 5, but you chose a couple from each spot here to make your final fused outline. So just to give you a heads up, then from here, you would use your fused outline to write that paragraph about whatever that topic is. Does that kind of make sense, Allie, to you? Okay, good. And we're going to talk about, like I said, more next week. Your topic is going to be about tortoises. Once we get into that, you're going to learn a lot about tortoises. You're going to have 3 different sources, and you're going to fuse them together into one outline. And then I'll teach you how to write that research paper from there. So just a quick reminder, that's all we're going to do as far as class notes today. Quick reminder about your homework for this week. It's going to be either the one about the tortoise or the picnic one. And you're going to finish your outline for one or either one of these, finish the outline and write your story. And then we'll talk more about research papers next week. Okie dokie. So that's it for today. Did you have any questions for me? You're good? Okay, then. Okay, Allie, I'll see you next Monday. Have a good one.